On today's episode of Video Marketing Madness, we're going to talk about the differences between Google and YouTube for ranking videos. And today's episode is made possible by freevideoeditor.co. Freevideoeditor.co allows you to download a video editing software that you can use for all of your projects completely for free. And this isn't just some wimpy little software. It's a very powerful tool that can truly help you to make stunning videos. So check it out now at freevideoeditor.co. And with that, let's hit the music.
He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy. His skill is where it's at, even if he's a little fat. He's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so sick. He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy.
And we're back. Oh, yeah, it's time for me to talk.
Go for it.
Oh, man. I was giving you a hard time about smoking pot and snorting coke. Ray's got some allergy issues today. Anyhow, it's the radio show about video marketing madness with Ray the Video Guy. And I'm Steve Sleeper on the Earn.Show podcast network. And we're also on Stitcher and Apple Podcasts, so check us out there. YouTube. We're on YouTube.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. Wonderful, wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah, I think what threw me is you put up the slide during the music, and I'm like, oh, that's different. And
well, just let people see what it's about in case they jumped in early. And that's what we're going to talk about today. For those of you listening on the podcast, you couldn't see the slide, but we're going to talk about Google versus YouTube for ranking videos. And it should be a pretty exciting little discussion because there are some differences. And, a lot of people, they worry a lot about Google ranking. That's their big thing. If they've got a video, they want to rank on Google, but we often forget about YouTube as well. And YouTube is, well, the conventional wisdom is YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. I don't know if that's actually true. It probably is. I'm sure that, some people would say, well, wait a minute, what about Amazon or what about iTunes or whatever? But really, it's right up there regardless of whether it's actually second or not. It is right up there, and people go there to watch videos. They go there to learn stuff. They go there to entertain themselves. And so you want to make sure that you're not just ranking on Google. It's very important to rank on YouTube. And so I thought we would discuss the differences between the two so that people get a better idea of what to expect on those different platforms. And so the first one I want to talk about is YouTube itself. So for those of you who've ever done video, you may discover that it's actually a lot easier to rank a video on YouTube than it is on Google. Now, there's a lot of different reasons for that. The biggest one being, of course, that video is only one of many different things that Google ranks. They rank local businesses on maps. They rank music from different music sites. They rank websites. They rank all sorts of different things. They rank social media in some cases. And so you're competing not just with other videos, but you're competing with all of these different things. And depending upon the search term, Google may decide whether or not a video is even appropriate. So for instance, if somebody searches, best dog food, well, the Purina website is probably more conducive to that search than a video. Now, if you can make the video more relevant to those search terms, then you're going to do better. Or if you can pick keywords that are more video friendly, then you can do better there. So, for instance, how much dog food should I give my dog? A video might make a lot more sense there than the Purina website. And so therefore you could actually rank well there and then use that as a jumping point to be able to sell products and get more people on your list, things like that. So let's talk a little bit about what makes YouTube videos rank. And quite honestly, the biggest thing that I've found is the title. The more relevant your title is, the better you're going to do. Now, of course, if let's say you're going for, best weight loss product, well, there's probably going to be 500 other people using that term. So obviously, just the title alone is not going to be the thing that determines all of that, but it is a very strong factor. And if you've got a keyword that's really good and maybe a little bit more long tail, well, you can rank very well on YouTube just by using that long tail keyword in your title. And, even if the rest of it isn't great, you're probably going to rank pretty well with that. On top of that, the title should be compelling as well. Give people a reason to want to watch the video. After all, YouTube is there to get people to watch videos so they see ads. They're trying to make money by getting people to watch videos. So not only do you want to have the relevant keyword, but you also want to make sure that it's compelling enough that people want to watch that video when they see that video sitting up there. So that's another thing you want to do. Now, tags. We don't talk a lot about tags. Tags have always kind of been tags and categories on YouTube have always kind of been the thing that people kind of put to the side. Steve, what do you think about tags? Tags. Do you do a lot of research with your tags?
Yeah, I do, and I find that tags help me show up in YouTube.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not so much Google. No, that's my experience. But the tags and categories help in showing up on YouTube.
And the tags, they need to be related, obviously, to the video itself, and you can do some very creative things with tags. For instance, one thing that I've discovered, and do I have any proof of this other than what I've seen? No, but this is something that I've noticed is if you can come up with a unique tag. Okay, so for instance, one thing that you'll find when you're watching a video, obviously over to the right-hand side of that video are other videos, the next video that's going to be shown, and then other suggested videos. Well, one of the biggest complaints I hear from people doing video marketing is, well, it's all a bunch of my competitors, and they don't like that. Well, one thing that I discovered that can really help with that is if you have some very unique tags that you put in all of your videos, that seems to correlate to them showing more of your videos in that related videos section because they're finding a connection between the two. So it makes sense that if they're watching one of your videos, that these are other relevant videos. For instance, on my Ray's bonuses page, I actually put a couple of pretty unique tags. I put Ray the Video Guy. I put hashtag Ray the Video Guy. I put Ray Views, which is kind of a little title I've given to some of the reviews that I do. They're Ray Views instead of reviews. And then hashtag Ray Views. So I've got 4 tags that probably nobody else is putting into their videos. And therefore, my videos tend to show up in that suggested area a lot more frequently. Again, I have no proof other than they weren't showing up. I started doing that. They started showing up. But it seems to work. So that's something you definitely could try.
Anecdotal information.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
absolutely.
valuable.
It is. Obviously, results are what we want, and if we're seeing results by doing it, might as well do it. Even if it's not, we find out later it's not actually what caused it. Hey, you know what? You tried, and you got results for a while. So, but it seems to be the case that definitely does help there. So. You want to, of course, put a nice description. Now, the description should be, some people say 100, 200, 500, anywhere 200 plus usually seems to be really good. So you want to have a nice description that's got 200 plus characters in it, 200 plus words, and that description should have a lot of detailed information about what's in the video and related things to that video. So it's essentially a small article. So you want to make sure that that's pretty good, that it has your relevant keyword in it, that it has other relevant keywords in there as well, because that will help you to rank for multiple things. So, for instance, if you were going after, how much should I feed my dog? Well, if you've got other things in there about feeding your dog that are keywords, you might start ranking for some of those other words as well and get a lot more views just by doing that. So that's a very great place to be able to improve your video SEO is by putting a good description in there. So you definitely want to do that. And then, of course, you want to pick an appropriate category. So, for instance, if your video is about fixing a Ford Mustang, well, then you want to put it in the automotive section. If it's something that's more educational or news-related, you want to put it in those categories. And one thing that, again, anecdotal evidence, no idea if this is actually true, but it seems to be the case, but things that are educational, how-to videos, when you choose the educational or the news category, you seem to rank a little bit faster and better. Steve, have you seen that in your testing as well?
I have. Yeah. And again, as it comes to YouTube, yes, I have seen that. That's anecdotal. I probably pay a little more attention to Google than YouTube. But yeah, now that you mentioned it, I have seen that.
Sure. And, and it's something you mentioned there. Obviously, people do pay more attention to Google. But, there have been stuff that I've done that has ranked well in YouTube, and I haven't really put a lot of effort into Google. And it's, they still perform. So don't, everyone needs to understand that, YouTube is not the second cousin here. This is, something that is a very powerful search engine. And if you only rank in YouTube, you could do extremely, extremely well.
Depending on what it is, I would think affiliate products, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. How to,
yes.
How to build a barbecue.
Yep, definitely.
Stuff like that, yeah.
Now, the first section here that we've just talked about with all of those things, by the way, those are appropriate for not only YouTube, but for Google. So those are the kind of common denominators, making sure that, essentially it's the same as doing your on-site SEO for a website. So you're doing things that are specific to ranking on Google there as well as YouTube. Now with YouTube, there's obviously some other factors that are going to make a difference, because YouTube is about video engagement. It's about getting people to view videos. So there are some differences here. YouTube wants to make sure not that the most relevant video shows up based on what Google does, because on YouTube the most relevant video is probably the one that people watch the most. If people are watching it, there's probably a reason. If they like it and they share it, there's probably a reason. And so those are factors that are very important. So what you want to do is you want to show YouTube that, hey, people like this video, people want to watch this video. And you do this in a number of ways. The biggest one, of course, or one of the biggest ones, is embedding that video into other sites, blogs. So if you're going to create a video, let's say, again, we'll talk about, how much should I feed my dog? Well, then you should probably have a dog food-based blog, and you should probably put that video on that blog. And that way, you've now shown Google that, hey, or YouTube that, hey, it's embedded here. People are watching it there as well. Now, one thing to note here is when you embed that video, you have two choices here. You can embed that video and autoplay it, or you can embed that video and make them choose to play it. And there are some benefits to each one of those. When it comes to ranking in YouTube, when it comes to, improving that SEO, leaving it off, not doing autoplay, is actually better for you. And here's why. When somebody goes to your blog and sees that embedded video, if the video autoplays, YouTube does not count that as a view. So if you get 1,000 people to your blog page and they autoplay that video, you just lost 1,000 views because they don't count those. If you don't have it on autoplay and people hit the play button, well, now that counts as a view. So that's something you definitely want to think about. Now, on the opposite side of that, from a results standpoint, if it autoplays, they're more likely to pay attention to it. If there's a call to action in there, they're more likely to take an action. So you kind of have to weigh the two things. Do you want to perform better in YouTube, with your rankings, or do you want to hopefully convert a little bit better on your blog page? So
especially on a sales page, if you're doing a sales letter on a sales page, you probably want to autoplay.
Absolutely, because
if you're trying to rank in YouTube and you've got a private blog network, don't autoplay it.
Yeah, and obviously, if it's a sales video sales letter of some sort on a sales page, it probably doesn't make sense on YouTube without the surrounding material anyway. So if people see it on YouTube, they might be more confused than anything else. But and by the way, just a side note, I don't recommend you do a sales video using YouTube, even though I do it occasionally. It's probably not the best idea. You probably want to private host those just in case something ever happens. So you want to keep control of that. Just a side note there. So the next part of it is you want to deal with organic, promotion of the video. So you want to make sure that the video goes out to everywhere possible. Put it on Facebook. Put it on Twitter, Tumblr, StumbleUpon, Reddit. Make sure that it's mentioned in all these sites, all these social media sites, because that's going to get it attention. It's going to get people coming back to it. It's going to get more clicks. It's just going to help you overall. And of course, people, when YouTube sees that these things are being shared out in other places, it actually can make a big difference. Obviously, with that, you want to get a lot of likes. You want to get as many views as possible. You want to get comments on there, because they do look at social proof on the video itself. If nobody likes the video, nobody comments on the video, people probably don't care. Yeah. Apathy is your enemy here. Even if you've got dislikes, that actually can help you because it shows engagement. Even if every comment is "you suck," the point is they're engaging with your video, and that can actually help you out. So you want to make sure that you do that. And of course, that goes back to the organic stuff there. When you're sending your video out to all these Reddits and Facebooks and whatnot, you want to get people to come back and like the video. So you just want to get as many people as possible to be able to do that. You want to also send it out to your email list. If you have an email list, send the video out to it. Why not? Get those people to come there. They're already on your list. They know you. They like you. They trust you. If you send out that video in an email blast and say, "Hey, I just made a new video. Here's what it's about. Come view the video and be sure to like it, share it, and comment on it." And you'll probably get a lot more likes, shares, and comments as well as views. And that can only help to boost your rankings on there as well. You want to get other sites to embed your videos. So if you have friends, if you have related websites, people that you know, get them to embed the videos. That can be a big help as well. Just like embedding it in your own blog, having it on those other embed sites can be huge for that there. Another thing that you can do, and this is something that, again, for me, it was anecdotal. However, I just read an article that kind of confirmed my anecdotal evidence that if you run ads to your video on YouTube, that actually counts and helps you grow your SEO. So, for instance, if you got your dog, how much do I feed my dog video, and you run ads with that video, trying to get more views by paying for promoting that video on YouTube, you will get a lot more views. You'll get a lot more engagement, and it will actually help your organic rankings. And again, it was anecdotal. It seemed to work for me all the time. Now I've got actual confirmation from others that yes, that indeed is a big part of it. And one thing to mention as well is in your YouTube videos, you want to try and link to other videos. Even if they're not your video, you want to link to other videos. And here's why. When let's say we're going back to our "how much do I feed my dog" video. Well, what if at the end of that you say you have an end screen that has a link to your next video, which is which food is best for my dog? People are going to click on that and they're going to watch. Well, there's this thing called cumulative watch time. Okay, and so what that means is if my video, my dog video is 3 minutes long, people come and they watch all 3 minutes. Well, I just got 3 minutes of view time. However, if they then click and watch another video that's 3 minutes long, we now have a session that's 6 minutes long. They've watched 6 minutes of video, and the other 3 minutes of video were triggered by my first video. So that video now has session watch time that's 6 minutes. They watch another video, now it's 9 minutes. And YouTube looks very closely at that, because if you're driving not only views to your video itself, but you're driving views to other videos, that allows them to make more money with ads. They like you. They want to promote your video more. You're going to rank better because you're helping to improve the site as a whole. And so that's beneficial to them. And so you'll rank better by doing that. So that's cumulative watch time or session time. So the entire session that they were on YouTube, they watched more than your actual video. So that's very important as well. So the other side of this is Google. Now, Google obviously ranks things a lot differently, but many things still apply. All the stuff that we talked about, your title, your tags, your descriptions, all help Google to know what your video is about and therefore help it to rank better in appropriate spots. But there are some big differences here. Google, for instance, probably, the evidence shows and from things that have been said, they probably don't care as much about how many views your video has. Sorry, but that's probably true. They care more about relevancy. And, Google's main job is when somebody does a search, it's to provide the best information for them. Now, that's not to say that, views don't matter to them per se, but I don't think it's a heavy factor. Heavy factors for this are that it's got a relevant title for what people are searching for, that the content makes sense. So if you're planning out a video and you really want it to rank on Google, the first thing you're probably going to want to do is you're going to want to pick you're going to want to create a video that makes sense for the Google search engine. So things like informational videos, tutorials, how-to videos, reviews, all of those types of things are things that can be relevant to what people are searching for. If they're searching for a dentist in Houston, a video review of, a dentist in that area, that makes sense, right? Because that's what people are looking for. If they're looking to, how to fix a leaky sink, well, a video that shows how to fix a leaky sink makes perfect sense. It's going to show up on page 1 if everything is done properly. It's because they want it to go there. Steve, do you have any other examples of kind of things that make sense for Google?
Well, yeah, I do. One of the things that I do with my attorneys is we do a podcast, audio podcast, put it on earn.show. They typically have their own channel. And then we make a blog post out of it. And then we make a video from that podcast.
Yes.
And I tell the attorneys to send me as many pictures of your practice as you can, and we make a slideshow out of it with the podcast as the background. It's
nice.
Good information because we're doing FAQs. It's an FAQ podcast, and we get very deep into the FAQs. Minimally, an attorney will do one podcast a month. I got one guy that does one every week, and those get turned into blogs and videos.
Nice.
We backlink the podcast. We backlink to the video, and then on the blog post we also backlink the podcast and the video.
Beautiful.
And what we have found is that with if we're doing the backlinking, the social media backlinks, pretty much bookmarks. We got a good strategy there, and I buy about $5 worth of views. Is that still something I should be doing? The AdWords views?
Yeah, as far like on Google itself, on YouTube itself.
Yeah, on YouTube.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's
okay, definitely a good.
Yeah, I figured you would say, but I buy about $5 worth of views on YouTube through AdWords. I got my accounts connected. And then if I do all the other backlinking stuff correctly, and I've got a number of tools for that, Big Penguin, SynLab are the two ones I use. There's others,
nice.
But then I find for those long tail keywords, low competition, medium competition, I get them on page 1 of Google, and I'm averaging about 50% getting them on page 1 of Google.
Nice.
So yeah, and the important thing is just to establish up front with the attorneys what I'm doing. You're not going to get everything on page 1 of Google. Anybody that tells you that is lying. But there you go. I mean, I'm still. It's working pretty well, Ray.
Nice. Yeah, no, that's great. So on top of that, all of the stuff that we talked about with that is going to help with that. So, making sure that you've got your proper on-site SEO, and then making sure that you're sharing it out and everything is going to be a major help to that. Now with Google, go ahead.
Let me ask you one thing, because I'm going to
Sure.
take this opportunity to get a little free coaching. What I've been doing in the description, keeping in mind I'm trying to rank it on Google, anecdotally, we believe people just call off the snippet.
Yes.
They'll say, best attorney, so-and-so Nebraska, call, 402-555-1212. And then we have a picture of the attorney, as the thumbnail. They'll
Right.
call off that snippet. They don't even watch the video.
That's absolutely true. We've got the exact same evidence to show that as well.
Yeah, exactly. And now, in the description, what I've been doing, and I found this has worked, but I repeat I start by repeating the long tail keyword. I repeat the call to action, so phone number, website. Then I do a citation. Then I say share this and the long tail keyword again. Then I backlink that video because people are ripping the video off, so it creates backlinks. I want people to rip it off. And then the tags, I've got, I just use the keyword as the tag. Should I be putting more information in the description? Would that make that big a difference on Google?
It should, because Google, you got to understand with Google, what they're looking for, they are looking for the citation stuff. So they're, if it's got the same name, address, phone number as other things, that can definitely be a big help. In the old days, we used to be able to see that because we would actually, on the Google Places, where it would, the business had a Google Places listing, they used to show citations, and we'd have videos that would show up as citations in there. They stopped showing those due to a couple of lawsuits from other websites, which made no sense to me, but anyway, so they stopped showing those, but we actually did see videos show up as citations in those Google Places listings back in the day. So we know that can be a big factor, but yeah, you definitely want to put, whatever that particular show is about, put as much information as possible into that description. Again, you don't want it to be 10,000 words long. They won't let you. You got to keep it that 200 to 500 words, but just give a nice description of what's actually going to happen in that video so they really understand that.
Now, keep in mind what I'm doing is I'm feeding out 2 keywords on 2 different YouTube channels. So I'll vary that video a little bit. I'll just stretch out the slides just so it's a different length.
Yeah.
Am I okay with the same description on both, or should I?
You should be. I mean, you can mix it up a little bit. Some people like to spin them, but honestly, I've never seen where that makes a huge difference. I do a lot of things where, for instance, let's say I'm helping a local plumber. I might take one video and then turn that into 10 different videos, or I might have 10 different videos depending upon how we're doing these. And they'll have a lot of the same description in all of them because, the plumber's information doesn't change. The about him, the title, the description, the name, address, phone number is all the same. Yeah, there's obviously some differences, but for the most part, they're very similar. I've never had an issue with that at all. In some cases where we're trying to target different small areas around a city, we'll have 10 videos that are pretty much the same. The description is pretty much the same, except the city name is different. So it's, Jonestown, Smithfield, whatever, all around one big metropolitan area. And I've never seen an issue with that as well. Some people will probably say, oh, no, you need to spin it more. And maybe you should, but I've never seen an issue with it. I've never had a problem with it. So
yeah, okay. All right.
And one other thing to mention, especially with local businesses, is there was a lot of rumor going around that you can't put your phone number in the title of the video. And that was a lot of the things that people were really, you can't do that anymore. You can't. I've never had a video pulled. I've never had an issue with that at all. Does that mean, that tomorrow they won't change their mind and start pulling down all the videos that have phone numbers? Who knows? But I've never seen where that's been affected at all. I've got videos that have been up for years with phone numbers right in the title.
Well, and keep in mind, and maybe this is where they got confused by it, I don't know. When you're making that AdWords buys and you're doing it on the search network, so you have those 3 fields you fill in, don't put the phone number in there. They won't let you run the ad. Okay. So, what I put in is the keyword. Now, if it says best DUI lawyer, I just put DUI lawyer.
Yeah, because they probably won't let you put best
in there. And then we can help, check us out. I mean, it's pretty generic stuff because I'm just trying to get some views. But my title of the video will say best DUI lawyer, Original Mississippi, and the phone number, call, and the phone number.
Yep.
They've never turned me down for.
No, I've never had any issues with that as well. Again, everything we're talking about, they could change their mind tomorrow.
Oh, I understand.
But point being is we've never run into that issue before. So going back to the ranking with Google, so on top of all that on-site SEO stuff, we want to make sure that we get backlinks to the video and preferably relevant backlinks. You want to make sure, if it's about our dog video, well, we want to get backlinks from dog-related sites if possible. And there's a lot of different ways to do that. I'm not an SEO expert with that, so I'll let you guys use your imagination on how to do that. One simple way is to just go to some of these dog sites and be interactive and, share your link on comments and things like that. But, don't spam their comment field because nobody likes that. And they're going to get deleted 80% of the time anyway. Go there, be relevant, read an article on a dog related site and then put a relevant comment to that article that makes sense. And usually most of those places allow you, when you put in, they'll say, what's your name? What's your email? What's your website? And then you put your comment, well, you get a backlink for that. So put a relevant comment so that, if they have to approve it, you want to make sure it gets approved. And, if they don't approve it, you don't want it to be deleted later. So you got to do your best there. So.
Yeah, but if it's honest, typically they don't get to
No, yeah. A nice, honest comment works perfectly fine. Social media backlinks I've found are huge. We've talked about this before. I had a video that it was a word that should have been pretty easy to rank for. It was a product, a very specific name of a product, so it wasn't going to be hard to rank for it. And my video didn't show up at all in Google. It was very strange. It didn't show up anywhere. And then I realized I didn't do my social backlinking. So I went into, at the time, I was using OnlyWire. I went into OnlyWire, ran the video through that. OnlyWire, for those of you who don't know, takes your post. In this case, it's a video, but you put in your video and it pulls the title and description into a little piece, and then it shoots it out to all the social media sites, like 50 different social media and social bookmarking sites all at once. And literally within about 2 to 3 minutes, that video was not only page 1, but it was number 1 on page 1. And before that, I couldn't even find it 10 pages in. It wasn't there at all. So the social bookmarking and the backlinking can be a huge part of the Google ranking. Not so relevant on the YouTube side, but definitely a huge part of the Google side. So you want to work on that off-site SEO stuff. Again, the embedding stuff, that can definitely be a big help there. You want to make sure that you're getting backlinks from appropriate places and embeds from appropriate places, and that can make a big difference. So those are kind of the differences between using Google for ranking and YouTube for ranking with your videos. And I'm sure there's some other things that maybe we've missed along the way. So if you know of some other things that might make more sense or add some extra points to this, be sure to post them down below this video if you're on Facebook, or comment on it to us, or send us a message, and we'd love to hear from you on that. Do you have some sort of secret Google ranking tool that you use that helps out? Now, Steve, you mentioned a couple there that we use. We use VidPenguin, and we use sites like OnlyWire and SynLab and SynWire, and all of those types of tools to be able to do that. But the bottom line is, everything we talked about here does not require a tool. The tools, when you see a video ranking tool, it's basically something that's going to help you to do the fundamentals that we talked about. But the fundamentals are still the fundamentals. You could do everything we talked about without using any tools at all. You can make sure that your own title tags and descriptions are really good. Have good keyword research. You can share it out yourself. You can embed it in sites yourself. You can put it through social media sites yourself. All of those things can be done. Takes time, takes a lot of work, takes a lot of effort, but you can do it yourself. If you want to use tools, tools will automate different parts of that process. For instance, another thing that we didn't talk about too much here, and this is, you mentioned VidPenguin, pinging your video. Mm-hmm. So what we mean by pinging is, when you put up a video, you can what's called ping that video. And what that does is that tells the search engines, hey, there's a new video here. And so very quickly, they go after and they see that's there, and that helps you rank quicker. So for instance, if you ended up on page, spot number 4 on page 1, if you didn't ping that video, it probably took you a day, 2 days, 3 days, maybe even a week to get there. If you ping that video, it might happen right away, because you're just telling Google, hey, check this out right now.
And may I suggest which pinging service to use?
Well, there's quite a few.
Well, the one I found that is best is the Google Search Console.
Yep, that's a good one. Pingler is another good one. So there's a bunch of them out there. And by the way, we mentioned a VidPenguin. That's all VidPenguin does. VidPenguin is this amazing software, but all it does is ping your videos for you. Well, I shouldn't say that. It actually pings your videos. You can you can send it out to indexing services.
It indexes them,
and it integrates with some social media things too. But basically, what it's doing is, inside of YouTube, you've got your video that's youtube.com/watch/v equals, and then a bunch of numbers, right? That's your video link. So what VidPenguin does is it takes that, puts it in, and then goes, okay, what are the other links that point to this video? So that would be like
combos,
the u2.be/ then those numbers, the shortened link. So now you've got 2 URLs that you're pinging out. Then you've got ones that have, stuff after that. So watch, v equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then, maybe something that, shows relevant videos. And so basically there's about 30 different URLs that point to that same video on YouTube. Okay. And so what it does is it pulls all of those different URLs, and then it uses a couple other shorteners to create even more URLs, and then pings all of those URLs at the same time. And so now there's a whole bunch of links that point to your video, and it helps it to rank faster as well. I mentioned a service called OnlyWire, very good service, very cheap, that allows you to do your social bookmarking very quickly. Fiverr. There's no reason you can't hire somebody on Fiverr to do your social bookmarking for you. In fact, chances are they're probably just using something like OnlyWire to do it. Cost you a couple of dollars, but then you don't have to go through the process of doing all of that. One thing to mention, though, we're talking about Fiverr and things like that. Don't buy views. Most of the view buying services are just going to get the video pulled down, or YouTube's just going to erase the views that you got from that. All of a sudden you'll show up and there's 1,000 less views than you had the day before. It's nonsense. Most of them are garbage views, not real robots. Are there services that could help you get real views? Probably, but you can do that yourself, and it's really not worth the risk, in my opinion. So
it's called Google AdWords.
Yeah, if you do AdWords on YouTube, do a promoted video on YouTube, they'll get you your views, and it'll cost you about the same. So why bother with a shady service that could get you into trouble? So that's what I would do, is stick with that. Yes.
The other thing I've noticed about VidPenguin, and just FYI, those numbers at the end of the URL after equal, that's the unique identifier, and there's a bunch of different URL combinations that work for that. The other thing I noticed is that with VidPenguin, it's not only the YouTube combinations, there's also like loop videos.
Right.
And it'll be loop videos, and then that unique identifier at the end. There's actually a site called Loop Videos, and it posts it up there.
Yep.
Endless videos, it's in there, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah. So it's basically just sites that automatically will pull and put videos up onto another website for you, and then you ping that as well. And same thing, they'll use shorteners as well. So if there's shorteners out there, they'll use some shorteners to create a new link, ping that out there, and then of course it runs it through indexing services. And indexing services are kind of like pinging on steroids, because they don't just ping and hope that you get noticed by. They ping and reping and reping. Make sure that Google puts that video into the index as fast as possible. And that's basically what it does. So it's a step beyond just pinging. It really goes beyond that and makes sure that it gets indexed, and not just a higher probability of it getting indexed. So those are some things you can definitely do that can help out on Google as well. And so that, you've got both of those. You got YouTube, you got Google. If you can rank on both of them, you're going to get a lot more views. You're going to get a lot more engagement. You're going to make a lot more sales. So be sure to try and follow as best you can the best practices for each of the sites, so that you make sure that your video ranks even better. So there you go. Yes.
Yeah, I remember years ago we interviewed this guy that does CAD assisted woodworking. So he writes a program. He actually had a tricycle that was built out of wood that was done on a CAD assisted router. And how he got all his business is he would do a how-to video on how to do this, and then he would sell the program. He would sell the software program, and he built his entire business just by doing that. There's people out there searching for woodworking projects to do, CAD assisted woodworking projects.
Yeah, I think I've talked about it here before, but one of my businesses, which sells lapel microphones for iPhones and stands and everything, I didn't even have a website at one point in time. Literally, I just had YouTube videos, and the YouTube videos took people straight to PayPal. And we sold a lot of them that way. There was no website. They saw the video, they clicked the link, they bought, and that was it. So it's a very powerful way to be able to make sales, is through these videos. And that, to me, with no website at all, that's the ultimate proof that video marketing works. The fact that we could have a sustained business that only dealt with YouTube like that. So there you go.
Yeah, this is stuff I totally geek out about, is ranking videos. I'm actually pretty good at that.
Nice.
So this is I've enjoyed this.
Very good.
I've been geeking out about it. It's exciting.
It is exciting, isn't it?
Speaking of exciting, do we have a Mindset Matters?
Well, something, we actually do have a Mindset Matters. So let me hit the little bumper here.
And now, Mindset Matters.
Now, did you notice there, folks, there was no delay? I finally figured out how to... Well, I figured it out. If I click on it beforehand, it puts it into the queue a little bit so it doesn't have to reload it off the hard drive. And so it plays automatically. So there we go. All right, that's not the Mindset Matters for today, though. That is just me talking about the technical side of things here. So for today's Mindset Matters, I want to take a step back to something that we talked about, probably 6 months ago or so. And it was a book called The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. And you may remember we talked about that because it's something that I started to do, which is to follow a morning protocol that they laid out in there. And of course, you make it your own, but it starts off with, you do silence, and you do reading, and you do, your thank you, your journaling, which is like the what's the word I'm looking for? Thank you, your thank you journal. I can't think of the right word.
What you're grateful for? What you're grateful for?
Yes, exactly. So what you're grateful for during the day. You do some exercise, etc. And I'm grateful for the dead. There you go.
The Grateful Dead. Okay, sorry.
So that's what it helps you to build a nice morning routine, and they call it the Miracle Morning because you become more productive when you do this kind of thing, and it really makes a big difference. And so I followed that for quite a long time now. Well, Hal has a couple of other programs out there for different areas of business. So Miracle Morning for salespeople, Miracle Morning for entrepreneurs. And so I'm recommending now that if you've never seen the Miracle Morning, this is a time to go back and do that. If you have, this is a great opportunity to step up and check out some of his other ones, such as for salespeople, entrepreneurs. And he's got a whole bunch of other ones that may even already be out by now that are coming. So this is a really, really good program. And the fact that he's taking it out and, putting it out for different genres and different specific types of people is a huge benefit for anybody looking to be more productive. And I've found that it has really made a big difference in my life as far as how I work, how quickly I work, how well I get things done during the day, and also when I haven't done it, I've seen the opposite. So definitely check it out. If you've already listened to it, I recommend, or read it, I recommend that you read it again a second time. Make sure that you're following everything. You'll probably learn something new out of that. And of course, check out the new ones for salespeople and entrepreneurs, etc., etc., etc. And so with that, that's our show.
Yeah, and it's the radio show about video marketing madness with Ray the Video Guy. I'm Steve Sleeper. And who helped make the show possible?
Well, this show is made possible by freevideoeditor.co. So at freevideoeditor.co, you can actually download a video editing program completely free. And not only do you get the editing program, but you get a few goodies to go along with it so that you can start making amazing videos right away and really start to show off some of those video talents without spending hundreds of dollars on a video editor. So check it out right now at freevideoeditor.co.
Did you say rap?
I did say rap, so we're going to wrap it up here with our little rap jingle of Ray the Video Guy, which we play every once in a while. And so here it is. I wish I knew the artist. I wish I knew the artist for this. I don't recall. I actually found him on Fiverr, so I paid $5 whole for
I think
this,
I saw him the other day. I'll take next time I see him.
We listened to this one and we kind of make fun of it because it's silly and everything. And I did find that guy again on Fiverr at one point in time, and I found out what he does is comedy stuff. So I think it's intentionally meant to be funny. I don't think it's intentionally meant to be bad. I mean, I think it is intentionally meant to be bad.
It's so bad it's good.
It's so bad it's good. But enough of that. Let's just listen to it.
Okay.
Biggie. He's Ray, the video guy. Yeah, Ray, the video guy. His skill is where it's at. Even if he's a little fat, he's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need, he stays sharp like a crease in his pants. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing super sick. He's Ray the Video Guy, yeah.